Awesome. All right. So I'm going to start off today with a way that I think my second grade teacher would flunk me for. And that's my definition of life. Technically, by Webster, the definition of life, well, it's the word itself is actually a noun. I want to think of it more as a verb. Life, to me, is the pursuit of amazing stories. And in that pursuit, it's your stories of success, adversity, amazing events, happiness, failure, new beginnings. But what's different for all of us is that our story of pursuit is different for every single one of us. However, the amazing thing is that most of us have no idea what we're pursuing. But that's the best part. That's when I like to call the barstool moments are created. You know, the times after a while when you're in college and you go on that one road trip and then you forget about where you're actually going, but all the stories and the Instagram photos are on the way there or on the way back. Now, for me, my story kind of started when I was like, well, according to my grandma, it was the cute as a button stage. I don't know what it is about grandmas, but they make the weirdest analogies. I don't know if my cuteness, granted, her bar was set pretty low if I was compared to a button. But for me, when I was a kid, I had a massive imagination. I think kids have the most rawest form of human emotion. Most kids, they don't need to see things in order to believe them. They believe them with such conviction that their imagination makes it a reality. And for me, when I was a kid, I had a massive imagination. I would pretend that I could turn my hands into swords. I believed it with such conviction that it actually happened. I'd be like, sha, 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 right? My mom would take a grilled cheese sandwich and slide it down the table, and I'd be like, whoa, pow! Yeah, life lesson for mom, cut sandwiches ahead of time for Brian. But to her rescue, Ninja Turtles just came out on VHS, and Karate Kid was not too far behind that. And so I joined martial arts, and I thought it was awesome. I was 4 years old, and I was like, today's the day my hands are going to turn into swords, right? I was super excited. But one of the things that was different for martial arts from our studio versus and compared to a lot of the other ones is we knew specifically what the goal and the intent was for our instructors. He said, I'm here to train you to become black belts not in martial arts, but black belts in life. He held us to such a high standard. Not only did we need parent permission to test for our ranks, but we also needed permission from our teachers. We had to meet certain grade requirements. We had to do volunteer projects. Anytime that we were presented with a challenge or a question that we didn't know the answer to, his response was this: I know you don't know, but if you did know, what would your answer be? Oh, that was so annoying. But this taught us a valuable life lesson that no matter what problem that you ever encounter, there is always an answer, which worked out great growing up. I'd be in the back seat of the car. My mom would be driving. I'd be like, Mom, how does Santa Claus get to all the chimneys in one night? I don't know, Brian. I know you don't know, but if you did know, what would your answer be? Oh, right? But growing up, we had so many amazing lessons in martial arts. I started when I was 4 years old, and one that still rings true is when we have what we called words of the week, our life skills of the week that we would learn. Our instructor would gather all the students around him, and you would ask the question, why do people take martial arts? Inevitably, someone would raise their hand and say, to learn self-defense. And he would respond, no. I don't teach you how to defend yourself. You guys already have the key to self-defense. The ultimate form of self-defense is kindness. And fast forward 15 years to my sophomore year right here in the University of Nevada. I just received an award that ranked me among one of the top business and advertising students in the country. After receiving the award, I got tons of job offers, one of them in Los Angeles. Now, it was just approaching the winter months here, and you have the sandy beaches and blue sky Hollywood lifestyle. It looked a lot more appealing. So I packed up my bags, left school to pursue some of these opportunities in LA. What was supposed to be just a 6-month stint ended up being 5 years. At the end of that 5 years, I had so much accomplishments. I mean, Los Angeles chews you up and spits you out. I made some great decisions, and I made some even greater mistakes. towards the end of this, I was in a position where I had an emotional downtime. And it really didn't make any sense. I felt like I was treading water, and I was a pro at it. I was good at what I did. And there was tons of branches up above me, but I didn't know which one I should grab onto. At the time, by day, I was the marketing director, my suit and tie job, for one of the largest commodity brokerage firms in Orange County. By night, I opened up a martial arts school. It was tremendously successful with over 100 students. I was 25 years old at the time. But for some reason, I felt that I was living a life and I was running full throttle in pursuit of something, but I didn't know what that something was. So I got on the phone one day with my martial arts instructor, and we were talking, and I was having that heart-to-heart conversation. I'm in LA paying like $1,800 for rent in a small little tiny apartment, and he asked the question, so what do you want to do? I don't know. I know you don't know, but if you did know, what would your answer be? Like, oh, no, you gotta be kidding me. And I answered the question as I said, look, I love helping people. There's no feeling better in the world than when a student comes up to you, or their parent comes up to you, or an aunt or a friend, and says, you changed that child's life. That, to me, was a feeling that I loved. And I wanted to look at a career or a path that wasn't changing an actual career, but it was chasing an emotional feeling that I wanted out of life. And throughout this conversation, I don't really know how it came up, but he asked the question, what would it be like if you could show the world what 1 million acts of kindness look like? There's so many people out there that do these great things, but they don't know what the impact that they really have. What if you could show them? And from that point on, Think Kindness was born. You see, he hit the nail on the head. Negativity is a multi-billion-dollar industry. We watch reality TV shows where we see average individuals thrown into unrealistic situations. We watch their lives crumble, and we love it. We purchase the tabloids, and we see who's cheating on who. And when we turn on the news, positivity is far and few between. On January 1st, 2013, I was watching the news in San Francisco. It opened up with 5 different stories of shootings and attempted murders. Now, this is discouraging. How can you change the world when there's so much negativity? How can you change the world when there's so much to change? I don't know. But if you did know, what would your answer be? So that was my challenge, is I wanted to see if I can inspire massive amount of people that, yes, you can make a difference. You may be only one person, and it may not be big, but guess what? You are one. And you might not be able to do everything, but every single person can at least do something, and nobody should let what they cannot do interfere with what they can do. But how do we inspire a massive audience of people? Where could I get tons of kindness doers to take to the streets and change the world and prove to everyone that one small act of kindness can make a difference? Where can we draw the media attention to say, hey, look at all of these people. They are cultivating change around the world. Well, like I said before, is I think kids have the purest form of raw emotion. That when you ask a child what they want to be when they grow up, they give you some amazing answers, from a superhero that changes the world, or, boiling it down, they can change the world. And so I decided to rather not focus on adults, but focus on kids. And so I created a program called 15 Days of Kindness. And it started with one tiny elementary school, and the life skill was simple. It was kindness. The forum was something everyone loved, competition. We would pin school versus school, who can make the biggest difference in the world in just 15 days. We would challenge elementary schools to see if you could document 5,000 random acts of kindness in just 15 days. For them, the goal is lofty. They're like, whoa, dude, there's no way. But truth be told, they always hit it. Last year, 2012, the top school in the country was in Minden, Nevada. They documented over 16,000 handwritten random acts of kindness in just 15 days. Now, if you're ever having a bad day, we have all these journals. We have 250,000 handwritten, logged random acts of kindness. If you're having a bad day, you can open one of these up, and I promise you that you'll smile. If you don't, I don't think you have a pulse. Like this one, it's kind of hard to read. I said someone's new shoes were nice. Now you take this and multiply it across an entire school. We just created a challenge that shows every single person that, yes, they can make a difference. And the amazing thing is, when a child focuses on what they're doing for other people, they immediately notice everything that is done for them. Now, in high schools, it's a little different. We pin school versus school, and we create a challenge unlike anything other. Now, it's not like your basketball and your football rivalry, but what we do is we say school versus school, who can make the biggest difference in the world? Who can collect the most amount of shoes to send to children in Africa? Who can save the most amount of heads to raise funds to defeat childhood cancer? Or who could take to the streets, do the most random acts of kindness to truly change your school culture? All in all, what happens when you get 4,000 students across 2 different schools in a 15-day span? They draw attention. They draw attention of the media, businesses, community members. And truth be told, they not only succeed at what they're setting out to do, they surpass it. They always hit their goals. Whether it being collecting 200,000 pairs of shoes one year, whether it's duct taping a teacher to a wall for a fundraiser, right? They're not only creative, but they accomplish it. Now, 24 hours after one of my very first high school speeches, I was wondering, did this work? And the amazing thing about this program is the response that you get from the parents and the teachers and even the students. Within the first 24 hours of one of my speeches, I received an email of a student that was contemplating suicide. And she asked the question, how can you help other people when you can't even help yourself? One line in her email read, I am taking up space in the halls. I'm running away and I'm running fast. I can't take this any longer. Now, for me, when I received this email, I instantly set a meeting up with their school counselors and also some other professionals. For whatever reason, something that I said gave her the confidence to reach out. The email was sent from an anonymous email address, and we wrote back a very carefully worded email in return. And part of that return email asked her to come up and take part in one of our community kindness events, one of which was reading to local homeless children right here in our community. 3 weeks went by of silence, no emails in response. But 3 weeks and 1 day, I got that email. And it was said that for the last 2 weeks, I've been volunteering at the homeless shelter. Children now are looking up to me. I think this is what I want to do with my life. Help people. Do you have any ideas how I can make this happen? You see, the amazing thing is that when we do an act of kindness, we're truly able to see the impact that it can make. Now, we wanted to see if we can multiply these efforts, substantially. Our original goal was to do over 1 million random acts of kindness. After implementing the program in schools, we've seen the rate of bullying go down tremendously. We've seen families truly come together because children at the dinner side table are saying, Mom, Dad, let's go do something as a family. But we wanted to figure out, how can we make this happen quicker? It's been 3 years and we've logged 250,000 acts of kindness, and I'm rather impatient. We have 750,000 more to go. We need some help. So I decided to think outside the box. Is every single act of kindness that someone does, what we notice is when someone sees the result of their giving, they're apt to do more. So we got some heads of some website programmers, some business people, and we all got together and we thought, what if we could figure out a way to track the ripple effect of a single random act of kindness? And we figured it out. It's called kindness cards. And one looks just like this. The idea is this. You do an act of kindness, could be anonymous, you could leave a note, and all you do is you leave behind this card. Now, on the website, there's a spot for you to fill in this card number and activate the card. Let's say you buy someone's coffee, right? Someone pulls up, hey, the person in front of you just bought your coffee. You're like, what? That never happens, right? And they get this card. When they put in the number, they're able to tell the story that someone just bought their cup of coffee. When they hit enter, it takes them to the card's homepage. Now, each card is trackable, which means it has a Google map of everywhere in the world this card has been. It also has a tally of every single act of kindness that this card has done. But we wanted to take it one step further. Now, schools do thousands of acts of kindness. So what we did is we made a sponsor for schools and businesses to adapt to this program, right? So a business could put out 2,000 cards, or a school give one card to every single student and literally track live the ripple that they inspired in the world. Now, it gets even cooler. When you go and you click on the school homepage, they can put a video announcing exactly what they're doing. They get a Google map showing where in the world all their acts of kindness have been. Carson Valley Middle School started with 750 cards. As of today, 2 months later, they're up to 1,892 random acts of kindness. And we've seen some amazing ones come in. One of them was this. This afternoon, a handsome gentleman carried my bag from the office to my car. Then he handed me this card. It could be something simple. But recently, when I was designing this PowerPoint presentation, we received another one. I just received this card in the mail at my school with a note that read, "I was in your 7th grade class over 11 years ago, and I wanted to let you know that I will never forget the hug you gave me when I found out my mom was in the second tower that fell. Little did you know you are my rock. For that I thank you. Enjoy the box of tea. If I remember this right, it was your favorite. I'm in tears." That is just one story of that card. Now, I'm tracking that card to see where it ends up. But the amazing thing is every act of kindness has a story to tell. Every single person, every single one of us can truly change the world. Sometimes you minimize the small, amazing efforts that you're doing, the indiscriminate acts of kindness that you don't even think of, whether it's holding a door open or leaving just a generous tip. The ripple that you inspire can inspire even more. Now, with kindness cards, our goal is to track that ripple. And hopefully when someone sees this, even if it's 5 times down the line, they're inspired to do even more random acts of kindness. Now, I had one question that I got asked in a high school. And in closing, they said, "Do you think it's possible to live forever?" It was an offshoot question. I go, "Yes, I do." And everyone's like, "Wait a minute. If you want to live forever, you need to live a life that's worth remembering." Thank you.